Chapter 2, Childhood Trauma. As a young child with anxious abandonment issues, this new relationship felt good. I felt that maybe my core wounds were being healed. Looking back now, I'm not even sure I knew what that meant. As I mentioned earlier, I never felt good enough for my dad. These core wounds followed me into my adulthood. Not only did they show up in the relationship between my dad and I, but it showed up mostly in every other relationship I had with men. Relationships with male bosses in particular. I wanted the validation and approval that I was doing a good job, and when I didn't get that, I would often feel like I wasn't doing enough. It wasn't until I attended one of Dr. Gabor Mate's presentations on intergenerational trauma did it hit home for me. The feelings of never being worthy, smart enough, or good enough for my dad followed me around into these relationships too. I needed to learn that I didn't need external validation. I had it within myself. But it wasn't until I recognized this deep-rooted issue that I could begin to make changes. I didn't know I had anxiety until I was 30 years old. Being bullied in junior high and high school didn't help with my anxiety at all, but I carried on, still without knowing what was truly wrong with me. I knew what I was experiencing wasn't normal, and I'll share more of this journey in a second book, but it was definitely hard. I didn't date in junior high, although I had crushes. I would find myself in online relationships, and that was so silly. Now, as I reflect, that could have been quite dangerous. But I just wanted to be loved, as desperate as that sounds. I had a few boyfriends in high school, but my choices weren't great. I was going through a self-exploration phase at a point where I felt quite lost. I didn't know what it was about that then, but I guess that some might say I was trying to find out where I belonged. Learning now, I may have the gift of not belonging. I found myself hanging out with punks, the skids as they were referred to, and other misfits. This group would skip class and get high all the time and would drink on weekends. I never engaged in that behavior, although I would sit with them and wonder, what is so great about this? I never got high or drunk until I was an adult, and never high, because I was worried that I would immediately become addicted. The only thing that changed for me was my appearance. I started to wear all black, spikes, and was often referred to as Avril Lavigne. I had gone to school on the north side in grade 9 due to being bullied at my previous school for grade 7 and 8. I became intrigued by this boy named Brody. He looked like such a badass. He had a mohawk, he dressed like a punk, and had the cutest smile. He was a really nice guy, and the smile could get you from a mile away. There was one problem though, and it seemed to come with the punk rock lifestyle, which was drinking and smoking weed on a daily basis. I was never comfortable with it, and because of that, it became a contentious part of our relationship. I remember having a conversation with him on the phone one day, and I was wondering if I would ever be good enough to hang out with if he wasn't high or drunk. The abandonment wounds showed up, but they were not at the forefront of leading the way in my decision-making. I thought that maybe if I threatened to leave, he would smarten up, but it didn't seem to be the case. We dated for a little while longer, and I came to terms with this not being what I wanted in a relationship. About 6 months later, I ended it. As I reflect back, this was my first lesson in the importance of alignment of values and relationships, whether that be intimate, work, friendships, etc.